Hello, hello, hello. How's everyone doing? This is your local drift van reporting in. Hello, everyone. My name is Zaid670SV. I am a Sentient van VTuber, well, PNG tuber right now. And on this video, I'm going to show you guys how to build a drift van. Let's get a move on. So this will be a start of a new series where I'm going to showcase all of my drift car builds and maybe make new ones in future. So stay tuned and let's get back to the show. So you guys must be wondering, why is this Alphard looking a bit familiar? So this is because it's my avatar. My creator has soft spots for Toyota Alphards. So when this minivan was launched in Gran Turismo, he immediately bought like a bunch of them and started to make a lot of builds. He got a rally build, a circuit build, and now a couple of drift builds also. This MPV's handling is actually really nice. It's sort of like a sleeper, I guess. I think that's the word, ESL moment. And the platform itself, it's actually good for drifting if you tune it properly. Right, so first things first, you need to get yourself an Alphard. You can get one in the Toyota dealership, and the van only costs you 75,000 credits, which is actually not bad. The price is cheap, it's flexible, you could use it for multiple disciplines like rallying, circuit racing, drifting, even if you want to roleplay as a soccer mom that rushes to fetch their kids from school. And for the cherry on top, you could also swap the engine from a regular 3.5 liter V6 to a 4.8 liter V10 engine from the Lexus LFA. And in this build, we are going to do exactly that. Now, once you've bought the Alphard, the next thing you're going to do is to swap the engine. As you can see here, the price of the engine is really expensive. It's like 10 to 11 times more expensive than your base Alphard. But this is going to make you smile for days after you finish building this car. So I suggest you save up, do lots of grinds before attempting to swap the engine of this Alphard, okay? Once you swap the engine, you can proceed to install whatever body kit that you like. Or, I'm just going to plug in my design here. You can grab my HKS drift design. This is actually a livery I designed for Malaysia's Independence Day last year. Do check it out if you like this design. And now comes the meat of the build. So, here's what you're going to buy. First, get the weight reduction, okay? Then, buy the Comfort Hard and Comfort Medium tires for drifting. This is only for drift builds. If you want more control, or if you're just starting to learn how to drift in Gran Turismo 7, get the Comfort Medium tires. If you're already familiar with the drift physics in GT7, just go buy the Comfort Hards. Next, in the Club Sports tab, buy yourself a high compression piston kit, then a high lift camshaft if you've not unlocked the ultimate tab yet, and both the ballast and power restrictor kit. This is on your own preference whether you want the vehicle to have full power or you want to tune it to a certain horsepower level. Alright? In the semi-racing tab, get the racing crankshaft, the fully customizable computer, the fully customizable differential, weight reduction stage 3, and also you might want to buy the increased body rigidity kit. So the car would be a bit more stiffer, but it's down to your preference. Next, in the racing tab, buy the stroke up kit. So this will increase the total displacement to 4.9 liters. Engine balancing tuning, port polish, the racing air filter, racing mufflers, racing exhaust manifold, racing brake pads, any of the racing brake kits, whether you want to go with the drilled disc or slot disc or slotted disc, or even the carbon ceramics, the brake balance controller, fully customizable suspension, racing clutch and flywheel kit, torque vectoring center differential for you to Transfer the power as much to the rear wheels as possible. Then a fully customizable racing transmission to make your gear shifts even quicker. And that's about it in the racing tab. You can also buy racing tires if you want to build this Alphard for circuit racing. On the extreme tab, get the hydraulic handbrake and the steering angle adapter to increase your steering angle. So you can see here that I bought the carbon ceramic brake kit for my Alphard, but it's, like I said before, it's down to your preference whether you want to use the upgraded steel brakes or get the carbon ceramic brakes. And finally, in the ultimate tab, get the titanium conrods and pistons, high lift camshaft S if you've already unlocked the extreme tabs, and the carbon prop shaft. So if you haven't unlocked the ultimate tab yet, just ignore this step and then we'll go on to set up the Alphard for drifting. So here it is, my drift setup. If you already have your own drift setups, you can ignore this part, but you can also hang around and compare your setups with mine. So as you can see here, I'm using comfort medium tires. Next, for the ride height adjustment, I set it to 145mm both front and rear. The anti-roll bar to level 5 both front and rear. Compression ratio to level 28 front and rear. Expansion ratio to 45 front and rear. The spring's natural frequency also to 1.9 front and rear. And for the camber angle, I set it to 5 degrees front and 1.5 degrees rear. For the toe angle, I set it to 0.4 toe out, so the slider moves to the left. This makes the steering more reactive, but you can always change it to your preference. For the rear toe angle, I just keep it to 0, so there's no toe in or toe out. And for the differential settings, this is what you want to do. For the differential settings, first, you need to adjust the torque vectoring to the minimum amount, which is 5% to the front and 95% to the rear. You can see the slider going all the way to the left. And then set the initial torque, acceleration and braking sensitivity to level 5 for the front axle. For the rear axle values, you can use my setups here or play around and see what levels that you are most comfortable with. You can ignore the aerodynamics as it's not important in drifting. For the ECU adjustment, you can either run this on full power or use my power output here. I just tune it to 656 horses because reasons. And you can see its full power is actually at 708 horses. So you might want to play around a bit. Next is the transmission settings. So you can see here that I've set it automatically to 200 kph. You can also pause here if you want to copy the values. It's actually not that important because realistically you're going to use 3rd, 4th and 5th gears for drifting. And then here are the parts that I've installed. For the handbrake torque, you can either go with 100% strength or 95% strength. So this is what I'm used with. And the brake balance, you want to set it to level 1 or level 2 to the rear. This is important when you want to change directions and flick the car to the next corner. And finally, on the rest of the stuff that I've installed, and then I'll show you guys my drifts. Alright, so this is the main event. You get to see how I drift this Alphard around. Well, technically I'm drifting myself, but you get the idea. So you can see I've only used a minimal amount of handbrake to initiate my drifts. And after that, I use a lot of off-throttle techniques to flick the car around. I'm at the Q2 driving park and I'm driving in the Miyabi layout, which is actually a good place for you to start learning how to drift, as the track is wide and there is a lot of room if you make any errors. And for the first corner, you actually want to gain a lot of speed before initiating the drift. Once you've cleared the first turn, if you want to be safe, you can straighten out the car first and then continue your drift. Or if you're feeling brave, you can manji drift your way on the straight into the next turn, as you can see how I do it on the next lap. And towards the end, you will need to use a bit of a handbrake so you can initiate the drift, and then adjust your speed as necessary when going through the last set of turns. So on the next lap, I'll keep quiet so you guys can enjoy the drifts. Okay, I think that's about it on my Alphard drift build. You can try my build out, or if you have any setups of your own, you can also experiment and do all the necessary adjustments until you are satisfied with your own setups. I'll be releasing more drift builds in the future, so watch this space. And as always, like my video if you find my content interesting, subscribe to my YouTube channel, go follow me on my Twitch channel, my TikTok, my Twitter, anywhere that you can find me. And I'll see you guys on the next video, or maybe on the next live stream. Until then, be safe and have fun, everyone.